Hey everybody, so I spend quite a lot of time kind of telling you about other people's shows and things like that. So what I thought I'd do today is tell you a little bit about one of my plays. Or actually it's three, it's a trilogy. So the first one to tell you about is a play called Jessie and the Bookkeepers, which is about 55 minutes long. It's very flexible casting, so the lead role could be played by a boy or a girl, or any gender actually, and there's quite a few of the roles within the piece that the genders can be switched. That's not a problem. There's opportunities for lots of multi-rolling, or there are also opportunities for just a large cast, which, let's face it, in schools these days it's actually quite hard to find those and find ones that are very easy to rehearse. And this one's very easy to rehearse because it's lots of different sort of episodes and little stories and chapters, so it makes it very easy for people to be called to rehearse and have a specific group of people that can be there at any one time. So it's very easy to block out. So anyway, Jessie and the Bookkeepers. So it's about a child called Jessie, funny enough, who's moved to kind of a new school. They're a bit of a loner. They're, on their own a lot of the time, don't have many friends, quite shy, and they find themselves in the Lunar Library, which is where they find a lot of solace. And you have the librarian, who is Miss Moon, Chione Moon. So basically, they become friends, and Chione gets to know sort of Jessie and watches and sees how lonely she can be. So one day Jessie leaves the library, and these statues that are in the library, they come to life. And they are the bookkeepers. And the bookkeepers are in charge of different areas of the library. So Creasy is in charge of comedy, Doom and Gloom is tragedy. So that sort of thing. PW is playwright. So they've got all these different sort of characters. Now, Chione is Princess of the Moon. And she has a brother called Tiernan, who always wanted to be king of the moon. He wanted the ultimate power. And actually, it was his sister who got it. That's in a different play. So she had him, she was protecting a place called the Stavois, which was where he was kept to keep him from causing any harm and any mischief. Well, he breaks free with his sidekick Smudge. And essentially what happens is they go jumping through lots of different books. So Romeo and Juliet, Dreamtime stories, Radio the Musical, The Sword in the Stone, King Arthur, all of those different kind of places. And they go jumping through these different books, and he goes muddling everything up. So, and these books have to be put back in order, or everything stays as it was and the world can be changed. So Jessie and the Bookkeepers and Chione all follow on in his wake, and they try and correct everything that he's doing wrong. His ultimate goal is essentially to get to the Battle of Hastings at 1066, because he wants to kill Harold and William so that he can be basically king of the world, not just the mystical world, but the real world as well. And obviously, there's always that thought of, was Harold killed by an arrow or a sword? Well, actually, in this one, he's killed by a sword, and he's killed by the sword and the stone. So there you go. But as we go along, we see that Jessie really builds in confidence, and she gets more and more sure of herself and realises that her ideas are good, and realises that she is capable. And we come back to the library at the end. Chione and the Bookkeepers have had to move on because actually Tiernan's managed to escape them. So what then ensues is that we see Jessie sort of staying behind at the library, and you kind of ultimately think that in the final scene that she's still on her own, but then you see that actually she's now surrounded by friends, and that she's gone on this whole journey, and now everybody is very fond of her. So it was one of those things that when I did it at school, that you would sometimes have parents that would leave in tears. It was always a sellout. And I think it's because it's one of those things and one of those characters that everybody resonates with, that everybody at times can be a little bit lonely. So if you're looking for a a type of play to do that's got comedy, tragedy, it's educational without people realising it, it's got physical theatre in it for the battle, all of that kind of stuff, then this might be the play for you. And if it is one that you think that you would like to do, then if you pop over to Stage Scripts, they actually hold all the licenses for it. And there is also a prequel called Fight for the Moon, which is the whole Tioni and Tiernan story. And there's a sequel called Kaleidoscopic Kingdoms. All three could be performed on one evening, because actually Fight for the Moon's quite short. It's only probably about 30 minutes. And Kaleidoscopic Kingdoms is probably about 45. So you could put the entire trilogy on in one evening. If you've got any questions about any of it, please just drop me a note below even, and I will get back to you. I hope if you do choose to do it, you enjoy it as much as me and my school did. Bye.